Yeah, it's your boy Fist in his ass, bringing another great edition of Modern Warfare 3 from me to you. 'Cause that's what I do, ground war domination, 9v9, using the ump with rapid fire. I have to say, this is serious Sunday. And I've been thinking about this for a while now, because it's been, you know, I had a couple of dreams, it was kind of weird, and then all this, like, rhetoric, and, you know, it's starting to become, you know, it's a lot more serious than it's ever been. You could do the research yourself. I'm not trying to be an alarmist. I'm trying to be a realist. And let me go ahead and explain some of the, you know, I didn't really want to talk about it because, you know, I just didn't feel comfortable about it. But now I just feel like, you know, that people should be aware. If you don't know by now, I mean, if you've been living under a rock and you haven't been paying attention to too much going around you, you've been noticing that the Middle East is deteriorating at a high level. And it would take a lot more than 10 minutes to explain it in detail. But it goes down like this. I mean, if you could think of $1 trillion, you would think of it as 6x6, maybe 8x8 pallets stacked on, like double stacked 8 feet by 8 feet pallets, football field long. That's about $1 trillion. So we're about $8 or $9 trillion in debt. So you figure how high that is, and you look at a stadium. That's how much our dollar is worth. Now, before our dollar, and we don't have the means as a nation with the United Kingdom and Israel, because this is all about it's kind of a self-sufficient organism, our government, and they're not gonna just sit back and, you know, disappear. So it's all about world domination and money. That's what it comes down to. And this started a long time ago. I mean, this started in the Israeli war, the 1967 Israeli war, when they tried to drag us into the war by the Israelis deliberately attacked the U.S. Liberty and try to sink it. And, you know, parts of our government literally, I mean, called off help to do that. I mean, under the Constitution, part of that is treasonous, you know. And this has been going on. I mean, we've been poking around and poking, and you know, and we can obviously see that 9/11 is another example of that. It's pretty scary at this moment in time in history. Now, if you are in school and you study history and you study all this, I mean, the evidence is there. You can go look for it yourself. And the reason I'm bringing it up now is because it's at a very, very volatile situation. I just wanted to give you some of the ideas of what was going on. In Odessa, Georgia, I think it's Georgia, we supplied military arms to, I forgot his name, one of the governors over there. We tested Russia, and they basically pushed back that resistance but didn't proceed any further. And this is all part of a, you know, restructuring plan in the world. You go back to when the British were buying tea from the Chinese. The Chinese wanted silver for the tea, and then there was no more silver left in the UK. In UK, British came over and took over Hong Kong and took all their silver back. You know, Chinese learned from this, and the history is repeating itself. Now we're at the point where, you know, the Chinese want nothing but gold because dollar is worth no more. And that leads us to, you know, into this situation right now where, you know, Iran is Russia's pit bull, and Israel is the UK's pit bull, and we're part of that. And what's happening right now is that if you haven't been noticing in the news, they're not going to report it. And literally, if you look around, there was actually parts of the government. Our president's life was threatened by another secret service from another country out in the open. And they're like, if you don't help us, then, we'll get somebody else that will. We have to defend ourselves. And the bottom line is this, is that, it's an all part of a bigger plan. And, that's why Saddam got dismissed. He started selling his oil in euros, and he went bye-bye. And everybody else over there went bye-bye. Anybody who tries to depeg off the American dollar goes bye-bye. So the bottom line is this. My message to you today, you can go and research this to the maximum, and everything I've said, all the way back to 67, even further, after World War II, you'll understand what's going on. And they're saying, and there's a lot of people there, that are getting out of the stock market's probably going to crash below 5,000 points, which is going to lead onto a run on the grocery stores, which leads onto declaring formal martial law, which means that the president and the military, whoever they seem, basically become a police state. So if you're Muslim or anybody, first and foremost, if you're Muslim, you're going into a concentration if you live in the United States. And then anything above and beyond that, if they find you as a political enemy or any of those things, it's happened in World War II. They threw all the Japanese in the prison camps and so on and so forth. So that's who we're fighting now. So that's who will go. So my suggestion is, if you live in a big city when they declare formal martial law, there is going to be no law. And if you're of any ethnicity or political opposition to the United States government, you will be thrown into a concentration camp. So my suggestion to you is, if you live in a big city, I don't know, take your tax return, go buy some weapons. If you don't already own some, at least have a handgun and a rifle. And seeds. Seeds would be important if you live out somewhere where you can plant crops, if you don't wind up in a prison camp. And they're talking about, you can read this information. I'm not being dead serious here. You can read it. There is tons of ships off the coast of Syria, off the coast of Iran. News media outlets are renting rooftops in Israel. There's not going to be an internet when they declare formal martial law. That's it. Or whatever they call it. It's a wrap. That's no more. It's going to be word of mouth, what's going on, what the TV says to you, if you even get radio, shorthand radio. So they say that, the historians from Harvard, most of them said it's going to be a limited nuclear war. And then it's going to be between ourselves, China, and Russia. And their projections are that Canada is going to get marched all the way down on, and it's going to be a very medieval times. So take your tax return, armor up. Think about it. At least do the research. Let me tell you this. At least do the research on your own. And, see what I'm saying? Search Israel, Iran-Israel war. Search everything I've just said. USS Liberty. Search Odessa, Georgia, war over there. Search all that, and you'll start to see, all the stuff, adding up to this point in time. I mean, I wouldn't even be making this message, but when you have another country threaten our president's life, you know, I mean, it's pretty much serious shit. So, all I'm gonna say is, you know, if you got a family and you live out in the country, you probably have a better shot. If you're in a city, it's just gonna be mayhem and straight murders. And then tell you what, if you got enemies, they're gonna want to sell their scores right away. So, just better be ready for that one. And all of the above. I mean, I don't know. Like, I have a family, so I don't know what I'm gonna do. You know, I've assumed that most of us are gonna just wind up dying. But I would suspect something around September, October, before November elections, or even sooner, if something happens. God forbid. And everything I just said, you know, for some reason, you know, cooler heads prevail. But it doesn't look like it's going to happen. You know, God bless you guys. You know, I'm seriously getting, you know, I'm seriously have this in the back of my mind. And to see what you guys think. Anyway, it's your boy Fist. Peace. And I'm out.